personal anxiety and personal trust issues in terms of how adults live their own lives and see themselves often comes out in the relationship between trust and their child.
Trust and learning, I think, are quite closely connected. Not just trust between the school and the child, that is very, very important. It's also important, if you're running a democratic school, to create trust between the school and the parents.
Like in the process where they see the kids like not doing the same things that other kids do, and they don't get reports cards and they don't get anything, what they know from their school time, they will reach a point, like most of them do at one point during the kids' like school time, where they will have doubts.
It's very natural that we're going to have trust issues when we get involved with democratic education, because we've just been conditioned our whole lives not to trust in the natural learning abilities.
I have been like a democratic mom for the past 16 years or something like that. And so sometimes I had issues with the school and had a problem with trust. But it wasn't so much my children I didn't trust, it was like the school system, the democratic school system I had problems with.
Like to be really conscious of whether you trust or you don't is rare. I think it's mostly like a wish where they, like in the beginning, they think, we have these pictures of ourselves that we totally trust our kid and we trust that freedom is the best and that we want the best for the kid. So it's for their ego, it's really important to not see that they can't trust and that they have fear. And so the moment then the fear sets in, then it becomes obvious. But beforehand, like before the school starts, the fear is not there. There's just the wish.
Trust is a cornerstone of democratic education. I think it's a very key component. I think trust actually goes beyond democratic education. If we forget the idea of any type of school or non-school and just look at life in general, self-confidence is very important in everything we do in life. You really got to believe you can do something if you want it to be successful. This helps enormously at any rate. And I think it is very hard to have confidence in yourself, to trust in your own abilities, to trust in your own understanding of a situation, if there are not people around you who trust in you.
And I had a lot of talks with my sort of mentor, I guess, like it's the system we have in the school, like a trustee teacher. So you have like a special relationship between the two. And I was talking a lot to him. And one thing that I'm really grateful for is that he never really pressured me. And he was always like, Aaron, you can go your own way, but you do have to decide, you do have to know. And I think he really trusted me in making the right decision for myself. And I think he really made sure not to like put some sort of expectations or like push me into a direction. He was just like, if you have any worries, you can talk to me. And yeah, so I think, and that's a relationship. It's still a really trustful relationship I have to that guy till today.
I think any type of role model in your life who expressed trust in you will help you enormously into developing personal trust and confidence.
Where there is no trust, there is no basis, kind of, because if I can't trust another person to respect me or do the right thing, then I have to start controlling them. And when I start controlling them, then I start going on unequal levels. And so trust is like the key thing in order to maintain a balanced relationship where everybody can like look each other in the eye and talk to each other.
It's not the way of okay, you do what you do and I'm not interested, everything will be fine. But accompanying her or being at her side, being at the side of children means to be aware what my thoughts are and whether I have to put them on my children, on the children in school, or whether they are mine. And I have to ask Leslie and phone her and what about this? Do you think it's okay? And she, I don't know this, but I think it's okay. And we have to support. And this is something I invite the parents in the school very often to talk and to reflect what's my own way of life and leave them in peace. Yeah. But there are doubts. There are moments of, hey, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And this is very important to invite parents from the democratic school not to be on this level of, oh, we all trust because we're on this movement. It's about, no, we go for it and we look what's going on with me, whether I don't feel good with something.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is a recipe, but at least not a recipe what fits for all. But what I did and what I believed in was always to be in a good and trustworthy contact with the people. So it's not only to be in that kind of relationship with my kids, but it's also to be in that kind of relationship with the staff members of the school, and that's something I need to build up.
And it's a big job for the school, I think, to reassure the parents, to get the trust. It's a kind of triangle of trust between the school and the child, between the school and the parents, and between the parents and the child. And if you can get all that to work, good things will happen.
And it's what you can see from the kids that leave democratic schools. It's so amazing to see like how they rest in themselves and they trust themselves. That's what comes out of it. They know, I've taken responsibility in my life and I can do it. So, I know who I am and I know that I can trust myself as well. I've been trusted, and I've been trusted so often that now it's a part of me. Like, I also have that for myself, and only, if you have that trust for yourself, then you can go out in the world and you can look people in the eye and be like, hey, this is me.
I've done a lot of hitchhiking. I've hitchhiked in 7 different countries this year, since I left Canada. And I make a lot of analogies, actually, with hitchhiking. And trust is one of the first things that come into mind. When I started hitchhiking, I'd read a phrase somewhere that said, when you're hitchhiking, if there's no car that stops, you shouldn't be too discouraged. You must trust that there is always somebody who will pass you and will be ready to stop and take you. You just don't know when this person will come. It might be in 5 minutes, it might be in 1 hour. But if you can stay positive and have confidence that this will happen, then it will. And I would remind myself of this when I would be getting discouraged, because I am generally have a lot of luck hitchhiking. So on the days when I do not have very much luck, I get discouraged very, very quickly. And I have to remind myself of this, because I've also noticed that when hitchhiking, if you look relaxed and happy, if you can smile at people, they are much more likely to stop. If you are desperate and upset, this is not encouraging. People feel this kind of openness or closedness in your energy, in your expression, in your body language. It's very clearly communicated, even in the split second it takes for a person to pass you. This is a very intense physical communication, I think. And when you can take a deep breath and just remind yourself to trust in life and trust in humanity. I have never once set out saying, I need to get here today with my thumb and not arrived. Not once in more than a year. Ever.